King Charles calls on Edward and Sophie to step in for historic first at Buckingham Palace. At a momentous military ceremony at Buckingham Palace, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh filled in for King Charles. Welcome to Royal Pancakes. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe and click the notifications bell, so you don't miss any news about the British monarchy. Following the French soldiers' historic changing of the guard ceremony today, Prince Edward and his spouse Sophie stood in for the Queen, who is now receiving cancer treatment and is not performing any public duties, to examine the troops. The Entente Cordiale, which was hailed as the cornerstone of long-lasting Anglo-French peace and laid the groundwork for the nation's unified front against German ambitions in the years leading up to World War I, was being commemorated on its 120th anniversary with a special ceremony. For the first time, the usually Commonwealth-centric changing of the guard ceremony was graced by French troops at Buckingham Palace at 11 a.m., 120 years after the historic treaty was struck. The MOD emphasized that while British and Commonwealth troops actually defend the estate, the French soldiers were only participating in the ceremonial event, and were not guarding the palace. During the 15-minute ceremony, Her Excellency Hélène Duchess, the French ambassador to the UK, and Edward and Sophie, dressed in a pale blue frock and beige coat, examined the troops. General Pierre Schill, the Chief of Staff of France, and General Sir Patrick Sanders, the Chief of Staff of the United Kingdom, joined them. With 40 Scots Guardsmen and 30 members of the French Gendarmeries Garde Républicaine sharing the palace's forecourt, the march included an impressive demonstration of solidarity. Anglo-French medley and both of the nation's anthems were performed by the Grenadier Guards Band. In parallel, a mirrored ceremony, the first for a foreign state at the French presidential residence, was held at the Élysée Palace in Paris, where British soldiers from the Coldstream Guards took part in the guard ceremony. Edward VII, the great-great-grandfather of King Charles, was instrumental in the Entente Cordiale, a major change in British foreign policy. It was viewed as a personal victory for the charismatic and skilled diplomat. Charles has reportedly made good progress with his treatment for an unidentified kind of cancer, therefore he has reduced his public engagements, including events like this one. But last weekend, Charles surprised well-wishers by showing up at a church service on Easter Sunday at Windsor Castle. Charles then waved to the audience and struck up conversations with others who were gathered outside. The king, who receives weekly treatment for the illness, shook hands with as many royal admirers as he could and stated, "I'm trying my best," in response to one fan's wish for speedy recovery. The Sun claims that the king has now informed advisers that he is raring to go for a trip to Australia later in the year and that he will likely visit Birkhall the following week. Only a few months remain until Charles and Camilla's planned autumn trip to Australia, New Zealand, and Samoa. The trip is part of a Commonwealth tour that will include 21-hour flights covering 20,000 miles in October. Although nothing is ruled in or out, according to Buckingham Palace's official line, sources say the king and his doctors felt very optimistic after his flawless Easter Sunday presentation. An insider told the publication, "The king is raring to go after a significant amount of time off due to his cancer diagnosis." For two reasons, Prince Harry finds it difficult to support his wife Meghan Markle, who fears returning to the UK, and his sister-in-law Kate Middleton following her cancer diagnosis. This is in line with the claims made by royal insiders, who state that Meghan, 42, is anxious about being rejected in addition to her own security concerns when it comes to bringing their kids to Britain. On May 8, Harry, 39, was scheduled to make his first trip to the UK in months in order to attend the Invictus Games' 10th anniversary service at St. Paul's Cathedral. However, unless the Duke is able to overturn a Home Office decision that states he is not immediately entitled to police protection in the UK, he and his wife are said to be concerned about security and the safety of their children, Archie and Lilibet, in the UK. A royal insider has revealed to New magazine that, underlying these security worries, Meghan is reportedly afraid of being thrown back into an anxiety-fueled visit to England, where she feels like she's not wanted.